Yo guys, when it comes to building muscle, I gotta get it off my chest. If people just, turned off their brain and just did the few basic things that actually mattered, everyone will be jacked. Everyone will be seeing success. I wouldn't be able to make a YouTube videos on this because you wouldn't need the YouTube videos. Everyone would just be building muscle without any issues. People who went to the gym, in the 2000s, the 90s, and the 80s and the 70s, they were all more successful than people who go to the gym now. Yes, there are successful people now, and yes, a lot more people go to the gym now, so that's a big win. However, nowadays there's so much information, there's all these studies and all this other bullshit. None of it matters. You just need to do the basics. You don't need to overcrowd yourself with, an abundance of information. You only need information when there's actually an issue, when there's a reason for you to seek that information out. I hope that by making this video, it not only keeps you away from the random bullshit, it also just reinforces your ideas of what you already need in order to see success. That's what worked for me, and I hope, and my goal in making this video is to do the same for you. Now, you need to understand that there is a version of you that's like slightly more retarded, who makes significantly more gains in the gym just because they do like the actual thing that's required. They're not worried about, like single arm lat pulls, like I need to do this, and lawnmowers, and like, no, bro, they're just gonna show up, they're gonna do barbell rows, they're gonna progressively overload, train to close to failure, train a high rep range, build lots of muscle, build lots of strength, and become an athletic beast. While you're sitting there, trying to perfect your routine, targeting all the isolating muscles and all this other random shit that you don't need, while they're out there, working hard, making the gains. When it comes to the gym, 90% of you need to just turn off your brain, show up, and do the hard work. More information is not equal more gains. That's a big misconception. I feel like I just need to say that very, very clearly. The more you know doesn't mean the more you're gonna gain. Once you know like literally the basics, you need to like not know anything more and just do now. You need to do. And I think that's a big issue. A lot of people have way too much information. They're doing a lot of the wrong things now because, for example, there's this guy who's like taking like 10 different supplements, but he's not even taking protein powder. And he's like, I can't get big. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So you can tell like he just has way too much information, way too much supplements. There's way too much, money, business, whatever. And, he's been thrown astray. And so, yeah, like I said, this video, I'm trying to reinforce your ideas of keeping it simple. Hopefully I'm reinforcing it, right? Like hopefully we all, follow the basic principles that we need to do in order to get big. Same ones that I always preach. We're not overcomplicating things. We're training, compound movements in a high rep range close to failure, resting, recovering, and we're dieting well. Anyways, with that being said, I made a small list of some things that you do not need to think of. So things that, I'm not saying that these things, don't matter at all, but if your focus is on this, you're going to lose because this is something that your focus should not be on. Your focus should be on the basics, the bare bones, your effort, consistency, just moving the weight, showing up. Anyways, I'm going to go over the list quickly. I think I'll put it up in the video as well. Anyways, so rest time between sets. So when it comes to rest times, you don't need to time it. You'll know when it's good enough. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to do like 30 seconds or 90 seconds or, 3 minutes, whatever. None of that matters that closely. The only thing that matters is, okay, are you going to go on your phone for like 5 minutes or more? That's when you get distracted. So don't focus on, okay, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. Who cares? You'll know when your set's ready to go again. Don't get lazy. And the most important thing is like stay off your phone. The most important thing is stay off your phone so you don't get distracted. Number 2, exercise order. So don't focus too much on this. It doesn't matter that much. Yes, usually we put compounds first, then we move down to isolations. That's the natural order of things so we can burn out slowly. We kind of like start off with everything, then we burn off the smaller muscles. However, it doesn't really matter, if you're going to do face pulls before biceps or biceps before face pulls, lat pull downs, cable rows, whatever. If you want to prioritize something, put that thing first. But don't overthink this, don't be like, oh, this needs to like have symmetry with your other pull day, and then you're going to like discombobulate and then, You're going to spend all your effort thinking about the perfect routine when you should just be spending it in the gym getting the gains. Exercise selection. So I went over this a little bit at the start of the video, where it's like someone's like obsessing over like single arm lat pulls or single arm lat pull downs, or just any like random variations that are just so obscure. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I've seen like people bring the bench press up and then do cable flies. Like, holy fuck. Like, just do the basic movements, bro. You're gonna get so big if you just like actually push yourself and do the basic movements with a high rep range, close to failure, progressively overload. That's it. It's so simple. Genetics. I don't want to explain that one. If you think that genetics are holding you back, just click off the video. Just click off the video. Go watch Blackville. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. If you think genetics is a problem, you have no excuse until you've, hand to God, done everything you can to fix what you believe is weak genetically. You have no excuse, and I guarantee you that if you think genetics is an excuse, you haven't done that. Once you have done that, that person is not going to blame genetics anymore, because he's going to know the truth. He's going to know that it's not genetics. He's going to actually feel good about all the effort he put in and the results that he's seen. Don't worry about genetics. Literally, I don't know how this ever came to be. I think it's just a random excuse. I think it's the easiest excuse, actually. That's why it came to be, because there's like literally nothing you can do to change it. So it's like the easiest excuse you can think of. But you got to get that out of your vocabulary. I wish it never came into bodybuilding. I wish it never came into weightlifting. Scientific studies. Bro, scientific studies are garbage, especially when it comes to bodybuilding. The 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s all had more successful lifters than the modern era. Yes, we have more people in the gym now, which is like very good. Of course, we have more people gym. The issue is that science does not represent reality. You need to know this. Science does not represent reality. Science is a scientific experiment, has many biases, has many variables that you don't account for, and overall it usually just is wrong. If you look at the science-based bodybuilders, they're either the same or less than, just traditional bodybuilders. I haven't seen a science-based bodybuilder who's like actually like, made some like crazy fucking discovery. No, they're all, the best bodybuilders are the ones who've done the basics, done the bare bones, and just went into the weeds and done the hard work. Science is not going to do anything for you. It's a cool little gimmick. It sounds cool. No hate to anyone who likes science, but when it comes to bodybuilding, it's useless. Stay away from it. How far you still have to go. So don't worry about how far you still have to go. It literally doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're building this for a lifestyle. So don't worry about how far you still have to go, because everyone started at like step 0, bro. So if you're worrying about, oh, I'm so far from this guy. Well, he was once there too. He was once at the bottom too. And yeah, it's going to take some time, but it's just part of the process. And so you just have to put in the work and get there. At the end of the day, it's a lifestyle you live anyways. You can't just hack your way up to the top. The best thing to do is focus on the progress. Don't focus on how far you still have to go. Just focus on the progress. Focus on, your daily efforts, what's going to motivate you to go to the gym. Whoever makes the most progress is going to end up the best. It sounds like very simple, but a lot of people, they don't piece that together, and they just focus on, where they are right now, how much weight they can do right now, what's your bench press right now. Instead, you can focus on the progress. Even if you start at the empty bar, that person who focuses on the progress is going to like outlift everybody. He's going to look better than everybody. It's just how it goes. Trust me, I've been in here. All the advanced lifters, all the intermediate programs, they all have the same philosophies. It's all about the progress. It's all about setting yourself up for success. It's not about doing the most you can or, where you are right now. That's not how the gym works. All right, we're going to talk about some diet stuff now, macros. So going along with the concept of this video, it will keep you small. When you're bulking up, you don't need to know what a macro is. I don't know what a macro is. Focusing on things that don't matter, are not going to, see you succeed. You need to just fucking eat, man. You just need to eat protein and calories. That's all you need to do. Eat balanced meals. It's going to taste good. It's going to have everything, right? If you put lots of sauce, it's going to have the fats, carbs, whatever, man. Rice and chicken. If you eat balanced meals, you're going to eat a lot. It's going to taste good. You're going to eat lots of calories. You're going to eat lots of protein. And that's how you're going to get big. Don't focus on the macros. Don't even count too precisely. Even just barely the protein, maybe. That's it. You don't need to, focus too much, because you just need to have a massive surplus. That's it. You just need to have a massive calorie surplus and the right amount of protein. Eating should be really fun when it comes to bulking up. The training is going to be the hard part. Going along with that, people are worrying about the color of their rice, like white rice, brown rice, red rice, whatever. Man, what are you doing? Why are you racist to rice? Just eat the rice, man. Who cares? That's not going to do anything. Supplements, like I said earlier, actually, I used this point earlier in the video, but bro, there's this guy on Reddit who was asking me about tips on how to build more muscle mass, and he was saying like he's taking all these supplements like BCAA and like some amino acid shit and creatine. And then I was like, I don't think he was even tracking his protein. I was like, do you track your protein? Do you take whey protein? He's like, oh no, maybe I'll do that. I'm like, bro, how does it even get to that point? It's just commercials and businesses, and they just throw so much stuff at you. So you lose sight of what's important when you do that. One of my friends is like this too. Like I don't think he takes protein powder, but he takes a pre-workout. That's a bit more understandable because pre-workout amps you up for the workout. Protein's like the most important thing. That's the one thing that if you're going to track, you got to track the protein. If there's one supplement you're going to get whey protein. That's the it goes without saying. If you guys are going to get supplements, make sure whey protein's the first one you get. If you have like, some other shit like amino acids or some shit and not whey protein and you're small, you're a fucking dumbass, man. What are you doing? But anyways, yeah. So protein, I'd say, if you are going to track anything, protein would be the number one most important thing. And then, on a bulk, you don't need to track calories, but if you want, you can. And then only once you're like cutting, that's when you start to get, you have to worry more about supplements and, macros, whatever else. All right, the last thing I wrote here, I'm sure there's like a ton more things I can go over, but I think the video is getting long. Guys, I just want to reiterate again, like, you just need to turn off your brain sometimes. I'm learning that too, with my business as well. Luckily for me, when I was coming up, like I said, I had somebody who was very much just reinforcing the basics, like on YouTube. There's a YouTuber I was watching, Alex Bromley, and a lot of the things he said, even though we don't even train in the same kind of fields, but he still keeps a lot of common sense. He still keeps, a lot of the basics of hypertrophy training, power, whatever. And so I just listened to him, and it really helped because it reinforces what's important. If I didn't have that and I consumed random garbage, I would have been fucked. So, either don't consume or consume content that only keeps you aligned with what exactly you need to do. Turn off your brain, just become like 10% more retarded when it comes to the gym. I promise you, it's gonna work, man. Anyways, guys, with that being said, that's gonna bring us towards the end of this video. Check out my link for further coaching. Drop the video a like if you did. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Comment any questions or thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.